Welcome to the Week 7 edition of the Davidson Football Coaches Corner, powered by Wade Associates. Alongside head coach Scott Abell, I'm Jake Eisenberg. Coach, this team 4-2 overall, now 1-1 in Pioneer Football League play. What's impressed you about your squad so far this year?
Well, I think in year two, you learn a lot about your team and your program, and the things I've learned is, our guys are incredibly hungry, right, to continue to take those steps that we took last year, and we've done that. And Saturday, we certainly fell a little bit short there in the second half, but, really for the first time in probably 20 years, right, there was a league game here that really had championship implications on it. And I thought we really battled, and just a few plays here and there in the second half, and it kind of got away from us. But I think that's what you want to see your team do. You want to see them battle. You want them hungry for those moments, and that's what we're finding with this group. They are hungry, and they want to take these next steps, and sometimes they're big steps, and sometimes they're small steps.
On Saturday, a 37-17 loss to San Diego, but you said after the game that the team knows they're in the hunt, and it seemed like there was kind of an inspiring message despite the loss. What did that game kind of in and of itself mean for this program?
Well, I think somewhat what I just spoke about earlier, that the opportunity to host that type of game here has not happened. And so for our program just here in year two in our 17th game to say that the San Diego-Davidson matchup was the key matchup for our league says a lot about our kids and how far they've come. But let's give San Diego credit. There's a reason they've now won 31 straight games in our league. They're the benchmark. And so Saturday, at the end of the day, we have to measure ourselves, and now we understand, we got some more work to do, and our guys understand that, and we're excited to get back to work and try to fill in some of those holes.
Your team set the pace in this game on Saturday, kind of with the points in the first half. San Diego was able to match you guys, but into the locker rooms tied at 17. In the second half, what adjustments did they make? What were you impressed with about what your team was able to do, and then not do in the second half?
Yeah, the first half, I agree. I thought we did a really nice job of kind of setting the tempo for the game, controlling the game, and there's a couple of plays that really jump out at you in this game. The big pass play they hit to their All-American right before half, right? It's kind of like stealing a possession, okay, because they got the opening kickoff. And every possession in this game became big because it was a limited possession game because they're in no hurry to snap the football. We became a more clock control offense this week than normal. And so at the end of the day, we had 7 possessions on the entire game, 2 of those being in a 2-minute hurry-up situation at the end of the half or end of the game. So 5 traditional possessions. And so when they scored late and stole a possession, that was a momentum swing. And then, the other big play that you have to look at is their stop on our 4th and 1, right? So they come out, they drive and get a score to start the second half, and we do the same. We do what we did in the first half. We control the ball, we go right down the field, and we get it to 4th and 1, and they stop us. And their senior linebacker made a heck of a play. I really can't say anything else about it. I thought our kids played hard. I liked the play call there. But one of those things is what championship teams do, and they made a play there. And so you look at those 2 plays, either one of them goes our way, then maybe it's us up 24-17 midway through the third quarter. And when that 4th down stop happened, you looked at the clock, it was 2 minutes ago in the third quarter, right? The game was just flying by. And so you knew then that the possessions were limited. So, it's kind of what the game turned into. It wasn't really what we had planned. But once again, we got to make sure that we're ready for that 4-quarter championship battle. We've proven we can get in the ring and play a really good 4-quarter game against some really good teams. But against a championship level team, you got to be able to maintain that for 4 quarters, and that's something we talked about yesterday with our guys, and they understand that, and we'll learn from this and grow.
When the game is unfolding and you start to recognize it's going to be limited possessions, how does that modify what the plan was going in?
Well, I don't know necessarily. It doesn't really modify, right? But you certainly know that you need to capitalize and take advantage, and I think that's probably where they gained their advantage. They've been in more of those situations over their history, and we necessarily have not. And so I think our guys kind of felt that as the second half unfolded, and anytime you kind of feel that pressure, strain on the game, things get a little tighter, right? And so we'll handle that better next time. You learn to handle these situations by playing in these situations. And for us, it's really the first time we played in it. And people, we can say, hey, we played out of San Diego last year in a scoring fest, which we did. But that game didn't have implications on, a title race, right? This one did, and our guys knew it. So that changes everything. And so for us, I'm so excited we had the opportunity to play in that game. I'm disappointed at the outcome, but knowing that we can only grow if we play in those games.
Year 1 to year 2 now of this triple option attack and having Tyler Phelps at the helm of it. How's he grown as a quarterback, and how have some of these other dynamic skill guys started to understand this system more?
Well, I think the one area you see us that we've really grown is probably in our passing attack. I knew last year we had some really good weapons out wide, but really got our option game going. We're very senior loaded up front and didn't necessarily have to rely on our passing game. And this year, it's been a great weapon for us, and Tyler gives you that ability to really be a guy who can hurt you with his feet and arm. And we're young up front, and we've had some great games where we've gotten after people running the football. And then there's games where we've had to rely on our passing game a little more, like last week. And the great part about that is it's been there for us when we needed it. And our guys are making plays. And so I think that's the excitement for us and how we've grown. Every year it's going to take on a different identity. And this year it's taken on one where it's not a bounce attack. It will never be a truly balanced attack. But, we have made the point that, hey, if you force us to, we're going to hurt you through the air. Or even Saturday, we chose to sometimes, because we thought we had some matchups we liked out wide.
Now looking at this offense in year 2, as this program continues to grow, who are some guys, especially this year, that have really jumped off the charts for you, that have impressed you early on, whether they be newcomers as freshmen, guys who have improved from year 1 to year 2 on either side of the ball?
Yeah, I think, well, let's start on defense first, right? I think our defense has grown about leaps and bounds. The improvement we've seen is like nothing I've seen before as a coach from year 1 to year 2 in any phase of the game. So incredibly proud. And guys like Jalen Jefferson and Jake Alexander and Cade Vila, they're all sophomores that are really gotten their opportunity to play for the first time or playing tremendous. Tyler Solomon, Jordan Reed, those young guys, those sophomores that were, as first years, maybe not in those roles, are become great players around some really good defensive players already. So when you look at some of our upperclassmen and Bryce Perry Martin and Tony Collins and George, right, those senior kids and Ray Sean have played extremely well. Now you put some newcomers around them that fly to football, Jalen Bolin, right? Chi-Chi. That side of the football has really grown. I'm really proud of that. Offensively, Jalen Staples has really, stepped up to be one of the most dynamic receivers in our league. And that shows each and every week. And he's made plays these last 3 or 4 weeks that are game-changing plays for us. And that's huge for us on the perimeter. And I think Eli Turner continues to grow inside this offense as a young. And then our two feature backs in the back, right? You got Wesley and Story who are just so dynamic. And the mistake we made last week is, San Diego, their goal was to take them out of the game, and we allowed that to happen. And that's on me as a coach. I can't allow that to happen. And that's the part that as you measure every phase of this, I measure myself. We can't allow them to take 2 of our best football players out.
Before we move on to this coming weekend against Jacksonville, one of the special parts about Saturday was the chance to celebrate and recognize the 50th anniversary of the 1969 Tangerine Bowl team and celebrate them, a reception on Friday, halftime recognition. What was it like spending time with that group, and was there an inspiration factor for your players seeing that team and understanding the success they had?
Oh, it was great, and for me personally, incredibly humbling to just be around those guys and listen to their stories and the success. I would probably say it was the best era of football here, and they were so excited to be back, and they were excited for our guys. They came to practice Friday, and so excited to see the energy back in Davidson football and the positivity going on here. And so I think it was a great boost, for our guys. And they knew it was a championship level game, and they talked to our guys about that, and so once again, we're growing every day here. And sometimes you grow in losses, and we'll grow out of this loss. But really thankful for those guys that came back and their families, and so appreciate all they do for our program.
Looking ahead, going down to Florida this weekend, it takes on the Jacksonville Dolphins. They're 0-2 so far in PFL play. What do you make of that team early on this year?
Well, they're incredibly dangerous. They're 0-2 in our league, but man, I think they're one of the more talented teams in our league. Offensively, it'll be a battle of wills, right? They're an option team under center. They do a little more gun this year, but they are really dangerous. They have one of the best athletes in the league at quarterback, and so we got our hands full there, and we need to be ready for their very best. It's their homecoming on their home turf down in Jacksonville, and we got to prepare to be at our best. Going down and playing anything other than our best football is not acceptable, and we'll leave disappointed, if we don't play our very best. And so that's what we'll focus on this week. How do we be our best, and how do we take the best on the road? And excited for that challenge.
Is there a specific technical emphasis on practice this week?
Well, no. I think anytime you leave a little disappointed in a game, right? You didn't do what you thought you should do. You probably peel back the layers a little further than you would, and so you evaluate yourself on all phases. And so I think, as always, when you do that, you probably get back to a lot of the same things. Let's do the little things better, right? Let's handle the big moments a little better, right? And everything else kind of takes care of itself. And so we'll get back to that. Let's focus on the little things that we know that we need to do to be successful. Let's make sure we're prepared for those big moments and prepared for a hostile environment down in Jacksonville.
Coach, thanks so much for your time as always, and best of luck this weekend against Jacksonville.
Thanks, Jake.
You can follow along with the team's game against Jacksonville this Saturday at 1 o'clock on the Davidson Radio Network and DavidsonWildcats.com, or you can follow along on Twitter at DavidsonFB. For head coach Scott Abell, I'm Jake Eisenberg. This has been the Coach's Corner from Davidson Football. We'll talk to you next week.